Good evening. Welcome to Grandma's Attic Music Review. Wow, it's summertime. Wow. So we're in the middle of June. Wow. Juneteenth is coming up. I'm not going to tell you what that day's really all about, but Google it. So every once in a while, the universe decides that I need more in my life than what I already have. I get new people, new music, new animals, whatever, new jobs. But about 6 to 8 weeks ago, I saw on Facebook kind of a ad, but some music, and if you paid for the postage, you could get the music. I was cool with that. So I paid for the postage and got the music and played it and liked it a lot. And then I ended up having a conversation with this artist. And it was amazing. The connection was brilliant. And her story is larger than life. Her music is enticing, inviting, enriching, and embracing. I don't know how else to explain it. And you might, if you listen very carefully to what we have to talk about, you might learn something. Actually, public access TV, we're here to teach you anyway. So I'm going to turn the first part of the show over. It's going to run a little differently than normal, but who's normal? Sit back, relax, enjoy the show, absorb the vibes, and let NYMPHYA bring you the delightfulness of her.
Wow, thank you so much, Dot. What a great intro. And welcome, everybody, to Dot's Grandma's Attic. I'm so happy to be here. I came all the way out from Northern California, and we're going to start the show off with the actual music video that you saw online,
right,
that enticed you to go ahead and take the plunge and buy my CD. So this song is called Over the Hedge, and it literally is the opening track to my very first album, which is called Dream Dance. And we shot this in the beautiful Armstrong Woods in Guerneville, which is in Northern California in Sonoma County, along the Sonoma coast, and so you'll see the beautiful redwood trees and all the moss. And I named this song Over the Hedge as an homage to traveling over the hedge that you do within all the magical traditions when you go into the other world. It's a wordless song designed to take you over the hedge. Enjoy. Awesome.
So you can take me to that amazing amphitheater.
It's amazing.
In the midst of those huge trees. I don't know, but do you feel a spiritual connection to those trees?
Oh, are you kidding me?
No, I'm
Hence
serious.
the name NYMPHYA,
Right?
Which is named after wood nymph,
Wood nymph.
which is the
I,
Greek nature
I
spirits.
absolutely believe that you are.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because that name, that moniker was given to me by Keith Keller, I was telling you about.
Yep.
He was my fiance who died unexpectedly. That kind of sent me on this whole deep journey of healing and finally making my first album, Dream Dance, which was related to walking me through the healing process through the course of making the album. Because Keith taught me so much about what it was to be in the studio.
Yeah.
And what it was to be a musician. I mean, I was a musician my whole life.
Right.
But he, as a producer, like I remember him telling me one of his favorite tactics in the studio for people was to get them out of their heads, because the microphone hates the sound of thinking, he would say, which I love that. And there is almost, I've noticed producing myself now, when I'm doing a vocal take and I'm like, you know, it's like you can hear them thinking. You've got to get into that sweet spot where it's out of your left brain and you're in that inspiration zone, which is what he meant. So he would like trick people to get them out of their head, because, you know, once it starts spinning, the tapes, everyone goes, I have to make it perfect.
Right. And
That's not conducive
perfection
to...
doesn't come from making things perfect. No. Perfection comes from giving a different way of doing things to the process. So, like you said, you did not just start producing music, doing music the way that you do it now after Keith died. You were doing music way, way, way before that.
Yeah.
When do you think it was that you actually sang your first song?
Well, I mean, I've been wanting to be a singer-songwriter since I was as long as I can remember being conscious, right? So I did write my first song when I was about 6. And we lived in Dayton, Ohio. We had a beautiful 1930s Tudor home and an attic up these really narrow, steep stairs. And one day I walked up the stairs into the attic and I found this really old accordion, which is, now that I think about it, totally appropriate because my family is Polish. My last name is Polish. Like, that's perfect. So I picked it up and I just started playing around with it. And I wrote this song. It was called Goodbye, Darlin'. And it was a country song, because that's what my parents listened to. So therefore I listened to country music. It wasn't that good of a song, but it was the first one I wrote, and I was like, wow, this is fun. I want to write more songs. I want to sing. And so I would practice in my room. I practiced doing interviews in my room with my dad's old tape machine. Nice. I would be the interviewer, and then I would interview myself, right? And record myself doing it.
Isn't it easier to have me interview you?
Way
I'm
easier.
Just saying.
Yes.
Just saying.
And your purple hair is totally on point. So, yeah.
I don't think that I'd want to have to think of the questions to ask me to make me answer them. So let me be the interviewer.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So you moved from Dayton, Ohio at about the age of
like
what?
Around 10 or so, and back to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I grew up in the woods there too. And I would take my guitar out into the woods. And
when did you get your first guitar?
I was 13.
Yay!
I was 13 years old. I asked my parents for a guitar. And my friend Sean was in the Girl Scouts. She was 3 years older. She was 16. And so she played guitar. And I think she is why I got my first guitar. Because I was like, oh, my friend Sean. So we'd play together. We played Girl Scout songs. And we'd harmonize. And we played at some retirement communities, some like nursing homes and things like that when we were teens. A lot of, you know, cover songs and things like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, for instance.
Four-Way
things
Street.
Like that. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh my God.
And then I went around by myself, traipsing through the woods with my guitar, and I'd go climb around and sit and play and sing. And then when I went to college, I had been taking guitar lessons, and my guitar teacher said, you know, I could get you, I had a scholarship to Temple University, and it was an academic scholarship, so I could study anything I wanted. And he said, well, you know, I could get you in on music if you wanted. And I was like, oh, I don't want to study classical music or classical guitar.
But.
I know.
But.
So I was like, no, I don't know, I'm not going to do that. So I studied engineering.
As all your whole family did.
Exactly. I mean, because my dad said, and I love my dad, he's brilliant. He was the first love of my life. My dad, I wish you all could know my dad. He was awesome. And he said, you know, if you study engineering, it'll teach you how to think. And I was like, well, that sounds good enough to me. So that's what I took. So it was kind of silly that I took engineering, but whatever. There I was. So I graduated with my engineering degree, and I was in bands in college, other engineers in the band with me. My first band was called Etc., and we played a lot of frat parties and things like that. And I got my job as an engineer, as a proper college grad. And I worked at Honeywell for 1.5 years, designing control systems for commercial buildings. Then I'm like, well, I'm going to play music on the side because I can make lots of money as an engineer and then play music. So that's what I started doing. And I was going, my inner voice was saying, this is so not right. You're wasting your time. You're spending all your time doing this other thing. You need to be doing the music. And so I heeded that inner voice, and I met a guy at Honeywell. His name was Mike, and we ran off to San Francisco together, and I went back to music school, and lo and behold, what did I study?
Learned to sing
opera. So I studied classical music anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So you learning to sing opera, though, has given you a foundation for the way you use your voice in your music today. Yeah. Not everybody knows how to use their voice. I'm just going to use the words correctly. Not everybody knows how to use their voice correctly. They think I can get up to a microphone and sing, and that's good enough. And maybe for them, it comes out good.
Yeah.
I mean, Taylor Swift did not take opera.
No, she's got a great voice. I mean,
She
there's so
does,
many.
and she uses it.
Yeah.
But when you sing, holy moly, I'm not going to say holy shit because we're on TV.
Can I say it?
Yes.
Holy shit.
So, audience, listen, I have to say this. We're driving down, I don't know, some near 90, I don't know. 95 was a traffic accident yesterday, 4 of them, from me going out and coming back. So we're talking. We decided we both like to swear a lot. So,
well, I was raised on the East Coast. Isn't that what you do on the East Coast? Is you swear?
And I was raised by an auntie.
So there you go.
A male auntie. Okay, so as a professional opera singer, you got the opportunity to really use your voice to sing opera. Are there any operas that you got to sing that became favorites of yours?
Yes, oh yes. 2 come to mind. Hansel and Gretel.
Oh.
And I play the witch.
Worked for you.
Oh, and the mother. So, which I think is brilliant because the mother's in the first act, and then sometimes it's cast where the same singer plays the mother and the witch shows up towards the end, which is very I have goosebumps right now. I love it so much. It's very psychological, right? That the mother, is the witch at the end, but the witch has this 20 minutes. She shows up on stage, and she's on stage for the next 20 minutes, and she is so over the top, wild and crazy, total narcissist. We were talking about narcissism.
We were talking about narcissism.
It's all about the witch, and then eventually, she tries to eat the children, and we know the story of Hansel and Gretel. And of course, she gets to I'm melting in the oven. It's so good, and the music is very difficult. Even though it's a children's opera, it was written by Humperdinck, and he was very influenced by Wagner. And I love this because you have a classical music radio station.
I do.
So you don't mind if I geek out a moment about classical music.
Classical music is the foundation for everything that we listen to today. You can go back as far as you want and into the original just drumming, or David bringing the harp into and making harp is the never-ending tone. It's the most purest tone there is. But harps and drums follow up into classical music with lutes and recorders and
Baroque. I love early music. I love
simple stuff that got advanced and advanced. And the classical music that I put out to the world helps people that listen to rock and roll understand the reality of where music came from. So, yes, and Humperdinck did write this wonderful, wonderful opera using Wagner's monotones and the way that he interjected
Leitmotifs.
Yes.
Yeah, and the orchestration is very thick and it's very rich, and it's actually quite difficult to learn the music. So I remember finding it ironic that this is actually a children's opera, but musically it's very, very sophisticated and absolutely brilliant. And just the role, it fit my voice and my who I am so well. So that's probably my number one. I would be happy doing the witch all over the place. And my second one would, of course, be Carmen, because what's not to love about Carmen?
Right.
And I'm a mezzo-soprano. So I remember when I first went to music school, my voice teacher was having me sing as a soprano, and I didn't know any better, because who am I? I was just some rock chick. I was like, I want to do this. And I thought the point of going to vocal training was to learn how to sing high notes. I didn't understand that they have this whole Fach system, which is each voice is categorized, and then the repertoire is categorized to the voices.
Right.
And so my very first vocal jury, I was so nervous. And I sang the first art song as a soprano, and the head of the department, Dewey Camp, who I adore, stood up and said, I'd like to hear the next song in the lower key, please. And someone had the lower key, so they brought it up to the piano, and I sang the next song, which was An die Musik, an art song by Schubert, in the low voice key, and it was so much easier for me to sing. And I finished, and Dewey Camp said, you're not a soprano, you're a mezzo-soprano. And I was just like, oh, you mean like supporting roles and the nurses and the old ladies and the boys? I was like, I want to be the heroine, which is most of the roles are sopranos that are playing the lead role. So I never quite got over that. I felt really hindered about that in the opera world, that I couldn't sing what I wanted to sing. You can't change the key like you can in the non-opera world, because you have 70 instrumentalists playing off the score.
Right.
So changing key is very difficult. There are a few roles in some of the early operas where they have rewritten the scores, some of the Rossini parts, for instance. But the vast majority, it's as it is. So if you can't hit one note in that role, you can't do it. And I just found that so frustrating. And I also found that as much as I love to sing the music of these masters and do these, as the German calls it, Gesamtkunstwerk, which is the all-inclusive art work, which opera is, because it has music, it has theater, it has dance, it has costuming, it has drama, it's everything, it's so big, it's so epic. As much as I loved all of that, I really wanted to write my own stuff. And I really wanted to create my own music. And I really wanted to do what I wanted to do without anyone telling me, you can't sing that because it's too high, it's too low, it doesn't fit, whatever. So, you know, I had a good run. I mean, I sang at New York City Opera, I sang with San Francisco Opera, I sang with San Francisco Symphony, I sang up at Eugene, and that's where I did The Witch. It was fantastic. I was a young artist at Opera Theater St. Louis. I had all these wonderful opportunities. I met incredible artists, incredible singers, and incredible conductors. And eventually, I finally got to do the Ring Cycle, which is something I'd always wanted to do. I sang Fricka in Wagner's Ring at West Edge Opera in Berkeley. I know. Now that's a brilliant masterpiece. Oh my God, I know. I mean, we're like, I feel like a tiny, like when I say, oh, I want to write music, and then you compare yourself to Wagner or Strauss or Mozart, and you're going, ooh, my brain is this big compared to theirs.
But that's
still,
not true. I have seen, I'm not going to allow you to.
All right, I don't want to deprecate myself.
I'm not going to allow you to belittle the amazingness of the music that you're creating from the very first album up till what's going on now. You are brilliant. You do have a mind that is seeped in tradition, in many traditions, and in the reality of what music is to you, but more importantly, to your audience. Now, that being said, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Can I get a shot? I don't need a shot. We're good. So talk about it.
Okay. That's my latest album. It's called What Have I Forgotten? And I just want to point out the artwork on the cover is by the photographer Michael Garlington, who is a very relatively well-known Burning Man artist. He has built many of the temples that are the big structures that get burned after the man. This shot on the back is on his property. He actually lives right near me, surprisingly. And so he shot this in that large format Ansel Adams 4x6 black and white, and then he hand painted it. And that's the inside. He shot.
And
he did
here?
that shot as well.
Oh, no, here.
Yeah.
She's almost naked.
What? Oh, I am a nymph. After all, a wood nymph, a nature spirit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not
this,
that kind of nymph, the other
This
nymph.
is out on light blue vinyl. Am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Light blue vinyl. I don't collect vinyl or anything. So, colored vinyl I have in my house. She hasn't even seen it yet. So, now, let me just say, with this album, she has also, because she's brilliant, done this.
And that's the book. Yeah, so what have I forgotten? Musings, magic, and music. And the reason why I wrote a book to go with this album was, as I was writing the music, I am very inspired by the esoteric. I'm very inspired by magic. I'm very inspired by the hidden. I've been studying magic and the Western mystery traditions for a long time. So I wrote all these songs that are inspired by that. Then I sequenced them for the album. And I'm listening through to the sequence, and I'm going, oh yeah, this feels so good. Yeah, this is the right order. This is going to be great. And then as I was looking at the songs, I realized, oh my God, the themes of these songs are in the 7 stages of spiritual alchemy. Now, I know this is super geeky. Forgive me for a moment.
Doesn't matter.
But
It's not geeky to some of us that know what she's talking about.
okay, good. So the spiritual alchemy is an ancient Western esoteric tradition that is attributed to the Emerald Tablet, which no one knows where the Emerald Tablet came from. No one alive today has seen the Emerald Tablet. It almost is mythological in its lore.
Because no one can prove.
Right. And Alexander the Great supposedly had the Emerald Tablet, and it's why he built the Alexandria libraries.
Right.
And the Emerald Tablet has these basically very philosophical tenets for life and living and spiritual development. And they have been codified into the 7 stages of spiritual alchemy. And so the themes of these songs on the album were laid out in the 7 stages, starting like calcification and putrefaction. And so when I realized that, I thought, oh my God, there's so much more here than just the album. I need to write the book.
Thusly, the book.
And I'm very proud of the
The
book.
book.
I have to
And not only did she write the book, all those pictures I was just showing you while she was talking, she also watercolored. She painted. So now let's go into a little bit of something really important to do. Where can people find you? And thus putting that out there, where can they attain these lovely pieces of art?
Artifacts. Thank you. You're so wonderful. Thank you. Well, I'm online because I started out as an online musician as NYMPHYA. So you can go to nymphya.com, and it's NYMPHYA. So 2 Y's, easy to remember.
Right, easy to remember.
nymphya.com. And then there's a lot of information there. My shop is at shop.nymphya.com, and that's where I send all of these things out from. I literally ship them all over the world, which has been extraordinary to build my fan base globally. So there I have multiple CDs, I have the vinyl, I have the book, I have artwork that I've painted, I have clothing that I've made for people, not I've made, but has my stuff on it. So shop.nymphya.com is where you can find me, and I'm on all of the social media, NYMPHYA on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. And actually, I just last week, I'm so proud to say, went viral on Facebook with one of my videos. That was pretty exciting.
I think the whole journey that you're on, and I say that you're on because your journey is, in my opinion, very young. It's brilliant, and it's going to go, like it's already all over the world, and it's just going to take you to more journeys, to more levels of loving yourself, which you do so well, it's a great journey for you to be on, and I think that you're going to change lives with it. I think that it's important for you to understand how important to the universe you are right now, and the love that you're putting out in your music is something that's going to help change lives. It's going to help people heal from grief, because part of your journey was healing from grief. So keep preaching and teaching all of that. Now let's go a little bit further into your journey, because you went from singing opera into this journey. What you said that you were doing the engineer thing, and then you were doing, like, what brought you to this place now, that, and why didn't you could have gone in any route, Janis Joplin, you could have taken that route. Your voice is such that you could have sung in a way that would have been rock and rolly.
You know, I adore Janis Joplin.
Me too. We talked about that.
My God. And when I was like 15, 16, realizing I really want to be a singer, I would put her albums on and just crank them up and sing at the top of my lungs.
Right.
She's a little high for me, and my mom,
She was pretty
my
high.
mom would come storming down the hallway. My room was right at the end of the hallway, and she'd come, open the door, like, turn this down, because she was like, it was taking her to the house, and I was like, what? I mean, that scared the crap out of me, because I'm like in my mode, and I always think about that with Janis Joplin, because I just think she was so brilliant, and I got carried away with her. And I can imagine my mom, she liked Pink Floyd, actually, but Janis is a little edgy, you know?
No.
So I imagine my mom going, what is happening back there? These two banshees going off. I've got to stop this. But she was very proud of me doing music and doing my opera and stuff like that. So I wanted to be Janis Joplin, and I wanted to be Grace Slick, too.
Huh.
Grace Slick was probably, this sounds completely insane because it was decades after she was there in San Francisco, but she's why I moved to San Francisco. I was like, I want to be where that music came from.
Right.
I want to just soak that in and be part of that world.
Well, there's so much to San Francisco, more than just the music. The whole vibe, the whole scene, the water that's there, that changes
the land,
everything. So for you to want to be there, you needed to go and absorb that whole thing to get to this place.
Yeah.
Now, you have a thing for clothes.
Oh, I do I?
Yeah. So we were talking about this
when
we never met until yesterday, by the way. So she comes out of the house and she's wearing these cool clothes, flowers on her pants and blah, blah. And I'm like, look at you. Exactly what I was doing, right? Look.
Yes, that is what you're doing.
I was so excited that she was really like the whole package.
Oh,
the whole coolness, the whole groovy vibe. And that's what I got from you, that whole groovy vibe. What makes you choose to wear something that you choose to wear? Because I know why I choose to wear the weirdness that I wear.
You know, it's interesting that you do say this, because I will say, after Keith died, I mean, I've always liked nice clothes, but it was after he died, and I was on my healing journey, and while I was grieving, I was in such a dark place. Like I let all of my plants die. I didn't want anything to thrive. I didn't want to thrive.
I know.
And I did a lot of work to help heal myself, and also Victor, who came along and helped me heal myself after Keith died too. And in that healing journey, one of the things I literally decided was, you know what? I am going to really go deep into clothes and fashion and living a life that celebrates being alive every day, which includes how you adorn your body. And I remember making that a very clear decision. And one of the things I've recently learned about fashion, because then there was a part of me that was like, oh, is it, I'm going to use the word again because we had a conversation yesterday about it, is it narcissistic to adorn yourself in such a way to get all this attention, right? And what I've found is when you walk around fashionable and
Put together.
people, it literally lights up their day, and I see it in their face.
Yep.
I see, and people say things like, oh, I love that, and it literally lifts their spirits, and I'm thinking, well, that's a great way to go through life.
It really is.
It's a win-win.
Anytime that we can make other people smile and laugh and enjoy what they're being presented with, it doesn't even have to be words.
No.
You know,
as a matter of fact, you're reminding me about before, when I was still in the working world, someone asked me, you know, what's your goal in life? And I said, I want to manifest beauty. And I meant it with all sincerity. And these two folks were particularly very materialistic,
right.
And very successful monetarily, et cetera. And I remember the look of horror on their face, like, manifest beauty? What kind of goal is that? And I look back on that and I think, you know, that still is what drives me. My music.
I was wondering
everything.
if, are those people still alive, and could
Yes.
you send them this album? Could you let them read this book? Because if this is not manifesting beauty, nothing is.
Thank you. Because I do feel
Nothing.
like I'm living that. You know how our language drives everything that we do.
It
Our
does.
thoughts drive everything we do.
We
That's
know
why
we know that we need to teach that.
Yes, and I followed Tony Robbins. I learned it from him many years ago. A lot of the spiritual traditions that I follow, and everything is generated internally first with a thought or an emotion, and our language puts it in motion, and then we literally then either implement it or not. But it's so important, and that's why I feel like looking back going, isn't it interesting that I verbalized I want to manifest beauty, and here I am. I have a garden at home. I just love to create it where I can go, wherever I can go. It's not just for me, it's for all of us.
Right.
Because life is beautiful.
That's
especially
well,
when you're so close to death, you really learn how beautiful life is. Right.
When you see death happen,
Yes.
it's a whole different, yeah. But I lost my thought.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's just fine. It's all good. Where do you want to take, besides manifesting beauty and helping the world to see that what the world really is all about is making and giving beauty, making and giving kindness, making and teaching hope? Those things all go together, right? Mm-hmm. Those are two of my favorite words, kindness and hope. Mm-hmm. I believe that kindness is a superpower. But where do you want to go with this? What do you want the next 4 or 5 steps in your journey to be?
Oh, thank you for asking that. So I'm actually in what I call NYMPHYA 2.0.
Yay! I think I'm in Grandma 2.0.
Okay, great.
Or 3.7.
Oh, 3.7. Oh.
I'm old. So anyway,
you know, as I said, I started out as an online musician only.
Right.
Which has incredible benefits because you can reach people all over the world, which is phenomenal. Last year, I had the opportunity to do a run of shows in the UK, which was also phenomenal. And I worked with a beautiful artist named Rose Thorne, who is based in Brighton, and her band that she does gigs with. And we collaborated on a show, and we worked on writing the show for a whole year long distance. And then I went to the UK for about 6 weeks. We had a team, our 2 tour managers that booked the shows for us at these beautiful venues. And we created a 2-hour semi-theatrical, because it's my background,
right,
show of our music where we wove it together. I learned her songs, she learned my songs. We would back each other up. The band learned all of the material, and we wove it together kind of like a cabaret show where we would tell stories about the themes of the songs and about our lives. And it was such an incredible thing to do my music live in front of an audience in these beautiful venues.
Right.
Because I had done it. I've had a few gigs here, but they've always been with tracks or something.
Like this.
Like today. Having a full band, there's nothing like it. And of course, we all know that. But because I started out as an online musician and a producer with my co-producer Fran in the studio, doing layering, and I play some of the stuff he plays, and then I hire other musicians. You know, when you're making a recording, it's different. I would like to do more live stuff now that I've had the taste of that, and how exciting it was. So, you know, I'm working right now. We did shoot one of the performances in Litchfield, and I'm working on the concert video right now to put it out as a full concert video experience, and then use that to see if I can book some more live shows, either in the UK or the US. The thing about my music, we talked about this yesterday too, it's not really like a club or
It's not.
Yeah.
It's a sit down and listen, pay attention and learn. It really
yes.
it is.
Sit down, pay attention. Yes. No, but I never wanted to make wallpaper music. I just never wanted to do that. I've always wanted to make music that you listen to.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that you'll find from many musicians nowadays, they would prefer to play for a listening audience.
Oh, yes.
I have a friend named Ian that's a cello player, but he could take the cello and loop it and turn it into
yeah, I
an
love that.
orchestra.
Oh, I love
He's
that.
going to be here Sunday.
Wonderful.
So yeah, tonight, get ready. Sunday, I want to see you in Old Saybrook, 80 Essex Road. Ian Maxon will be there. You know who he is. Anyway, so you want to get some live shows. I might have a way to help with a little of that. I know a couple people. I know a couple peeps. You know?
got some people.
I got some people, and so I might be able to help a little bit. But I want people to know about this book. I want people to know about the new album, and I want you to be able to teach the world about manifesting beauty.
I love
That's
that.
a thing.
That is
That's
a
a
thing.
real thing.
It is a thing, yeah.
Now, one of the things that you came here to do is show the world what you do with a microphone.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it? So will you do me a favor and get up and sing us a song?
Yes, I would
and
be happy
then
to.
we're gonna hear another video. So see another video, but she's gonna talk about that after her song. So please welcome into your listening devices our dear friend Nymphia.
Okay, let me take a sip of water.
Little sip of water. And while she's getting up there, let me just remind you, we are in summertime. July 12th is the fireworks in New London. They're not calling it Sailfest this year, whatever. And Daphne Lee Martin will be back in town in July, and I'm not sure whether we're going to have her here or on the radio, but we're also going to have a concert with her, probably at my house, but I'm not telling you all that. Here's Nymphia.
All you hushed ones once lived to ride on the scruff of your wild beast, shouting in the zephyr from its tangled hide, a tantalized, seductive feast. Oh, now your mass soul is hunched in vain, wailing in its twisted grove, trying to break through from your hidden play, with panting tongue and pacing hoof. Come round to stomping feet where hooves and souls of souls meet. Drop down to the ancient deep where all is lost within the deep. To forget and remember, before you took home all the fancy maids, your puppet dancing on a string. Find your way back through the labyrinth to Cerberus' familiar ring. Tear off your mask and unveil your face, shining guileless and free. Wild charm and shape-shifting grace, surrender and release your beast. Come round to stomping feet where hooves and souls of souls beat. Drop down to the ancient deep where all is lost within the beat. To forget and remember, For this moment you are free. Let it all just simply be. And it's strange, you and me, to remind you of the deep. Let it bloom for all to see. Stomping feet where hooves and souls of souls meet. Fell to the ancient deep where all is lost within the beat. To forget and remember. To remember. Thank you. Thank you. Don't let this moment go. Hold it safe in a place to grow. Inside us, outside of time. Between us, our paths entwine. Treasure each drop that flows. This instant is everything we know. Inside us, outside of time. Between us, our lives unwind. And I thank you for giving me the most precious gift that I can receive. A private cove on time's ceaseless sea. The sanctuary of you and me. this moment go?
Look at you crying. What are you crying about?
Well, because I wrote that song as a thank you for my fans for spending their time listening and being, you know, our time is so precious. And if they can spend their time listening to my music and, you know, connecting, I know I'm such a sap, but connecting
No.
souls, like music connects your soul.
understand
I know.
that.
And
I
so,
understand that in so many levels.
yeah, and I really, it just goes so deep for me. And I really, that song came to me when I was writing this book. And I was literally writing a chapter, and all of a sudden I started hearing it come through, and I sang it quickly into my phone, and then recorded the whole thing, and it's the final song on this album. So the first video that we saw today, Over the Hedge, is the first song on the first album, and this song is the final song on my latest album, and I just thought that was a great little bookend for us.
It is.
So
It really is. Your time here in New England is brief, but I think that there are going to be many chances for us to interact and bring your music to light. In a lot of places, this show will be up on YouTube Sunday morning, so that's
wonderful.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
I will share it with my followers. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you've brought beauty, manifested beauty in this room today. You've brought beauty to my community of New London. You've brought beauty to the music community that I interact with on a regular basis. And I think that as you go forward, you're going to teach manifestation of beauty to the world. So thank you so much, Nymphia, for coming on to Grandma's Attic and being a part of us. Would you like to say anything to your fans before we clock out?
Well, first of all, thank you for that beautiful closing. Thank you for having me. And I want to just thank all of you who've been listening and watching, cheering me on, and following me on this journey. It's not the same without you, so thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
All right, everybody, thank you for being with us for Grandma's Attic. It's always a joy if you see us on the street. Find us on Facebook. You know how to do that. Grandma's Attic Music Review. We'll see you all there. We'll see you in downtown New London. We'll see you out and about. Support local music, support local artists, and shop local. Bye for now.